Hello and welcome. This would normally be the second day of the second term of our 130th anniversary year. But as you know, in our Barker Reimagined 2020 look, this is the non-term time as we prepare for our coming back together again on the 11th of May. A little bit later on this week, I'll be sharing with you a great deal of information about the protections that we'll put in place to make sure that returning on the 11th is safe and well. Of course, the school has a mutual obligation. We need to make sure that our students are safe and well and cared for, but we also need to do the same for our staff. How do we make sure that we do that in this new world where schools are safe but communities still are practicing social distancing? And there are some strategies that we're going to follow, and we'll share those a little bit later this week. Today's purpose is to bring a few other people in to give you some messages, particularly about the academic program, about well-being, about looking after your brain and getting ready for the exciting term that lies ahead. And then finally, our students will share a few words. I hope also to introduce our new chaplain to you a little bit later on.
Whilst everyone's been on holidays, the place has been a buzz here with construction and maintenance work happening. The Aquatic Centre is getting a brand new refurbishment of the change rooms, the Music Centre has a new roof, and most exciting, the Rosewood Centre is coming along really beautifully. The courts are laid, the lines are down, the classrooms are ready to go, and we're really excited to welcome you back and enjoying the space that will be when we start term 2 on May 11.
Over the school holidays, professional contractors have conducted a deep clean of the school. Every surface has been cleaned and disinfected. Biofogging has also occurred. What is biofogging, you may ask? Well, I describe it as hand sanitizer for a building and for surfaces. This additional cleaning method has meant that all rooms in the school have been fogged, which means there's been decontamination of anything there. We're confident and looking forward to having you back very soon.
Well, it's the end of April, almost the start of term 2, and we're so excited to be able to welcome you back from the 11th of May. But what can you do between now and then to get yourself prepared for the coming term? Well, we've got some ideas. If you're in year 11 and 12, you've already been sent packs of work for each of your subjects. If I were you, I'd get as much done as I could this week so that next week you can organise yourself, relax a bit, get ready for the term ahead. If you're in pre-K to year 10, you've got a PIP that you can work on. We're really looking forward to working with you about the idea of water. And some of you have been allocated mentors that you can work with as well.
Building creativity for the future. What an amazing thought. Recently, I was reading an article from Harvard University that was sharing about our online learning community globally for all learners. They say that skills that our children have gained and are gaining from this change in learning has actually been skill set that we never thought they'd have. Building creativity for the future. What a wonderful thought. As we look to term 2, we want you to keep being creative with everything that you're doing. You've got your project, you've got your holiday grid that's coming out for junior school students this week. We encourage you to get outside and enjoy. I have a couple of verses from one of my favourite books I'd like to read you, and I'm sure it's familiar to you. The sun did not shine, it was too wet to play, so we sat in the house all that cold, cold, wet day. But look at me now, look at me now. It is fun to have fun, but you have to know how. And just as Walt Disney said, when you are curious, you find lots of interesting things to do. So off you go, be curious, and come up with some of those interesting things over the next 2 weeks.
It's also really important to enjoy your time at home in the next couple of weeks. As we're coming into winter and the days are getting shorter and it's getting a little bit colder, you really want to enjoy as much time outside as you can. Perhaps sit outside and read your novel. Look at your online work, but sit outside and do it. It's really important that you don't spend all of your time indoors. You could have a break, make a cake, make some scones, Have an online chat with your friends, walk the dog, go for a bushwalk. We're so lucky in this area, we have so many fantastic bushwalks. It's a really great time for you to settle yourself and get ready for the term ahead.
I am in love with ocean, lifting of her thousands white hats in the chop of the storm, or lying still and blue, the loveliest bed in the world. In all life there is grief, more than enough, a heartful for each person on the dusty road. I suppose there is a reason for this, so I will be patient, acquiescent. But I will live nowhere except by ocean, trusting in all blast and welcoming of her sorrowless salt self. That poem, The Ocean, by late American author Mary Oliver, was suggested by one of our brilliant PIP mentors, Matt Schroeder, who was looking after the water and arts team. Now in this case, Mr Schroeder was looking after a project by young Maddie Henry in Year 7, who was also composing a poem and an accompanying artwork for her project based on the water. Now this is just one example of the work that our mentors and our students have been working on as they create their PIP, the personal interest projects based on water. We want to congratulate the 500 registered students for the work that they've done so far in getting started with their project. But there are only 2 weeks to go until the project is due. So if you haven't already, it is time to get cracking with your project. Make sure that you've made a good start. If you do need any help, we've got late registrations still open for the mentor support groups. So all you need to do is head to Canvas into the Student Connect course, register for the project, and then you'll get added to one of the mentor support groups. From there you can ask your mentors questions and you can also have a read of what some of the other students are planning to do with their PIP. Finally, later this week we're going to be sending out some information about the PIP showcase, as well as how you can submit your project. Now that goes for students that have registered and those who haven't registered. Everyone will be invited to submit something for their PIP project. So if you need to register, please head on to Canvas to do that. All that information will be sent out through an announcement as well. Finally, until then, please be creative, be innovative, be inspiring. Good luck.
The change now from online to face-to-face, and even the combination of online and face-to-face, will present some new challenges for all of us. What's really important though is that you keep communicating with us. So from May 11, what we'll have is an opportunity for you to either be in class with your teacher or to be online via Microsoft Teams, which is what we were doing at the end of last term as well. What you'll be able to do is meet with us, chat with us, and also be able to see your class. It's really important to maintain those connections. What we really want to try to do is mirror school days so you get as much teaching time with your teacher as possible. And it's really important for all of us, for the teachers, for you, and for all of your classmates to be able to come together as a class across all of your different subjects and also across the junior school as well.
I've got a message for Year 12 and particularly around the HSC. The New South Wales Education Standards Authority, or NESA, have said that the HSC external examinations are going ahead as usual and results will be released in December. UAC have also said that ATARs will be released in December. So we believe that entry to tertiary institutions will stay as normal, although individual institutions may choose to have their own alternative entry schemes. At school, we're also working on readjusting the assessment program for Year 12s. What this means is that the number, type and weighting of tasks may be changed in the future. But to put your mind at ease, or at least as much as it can be at ease around assessments, I just want to name a few things. Firstly, there won't be any assessment tasks in the first 2 weeks back. Secondly, we're working on holding an assessment block later in Term 2. And the trial exams will go ahead in August the 10th to the 21st. By concentrating our assessments in these times, we're hoping to provide you with the best preparation and practice for the final HSC written examinations. In the meantime, Of course, remember my favourite proverb, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is today. So regardless of what's happened up until now, from today onwards, you can still make a great effort. In the meantime, look after yourself, and we look forward to seeing you back soon.
If you've picked up any study habits or if you've picked up any skills, make sure you continue to work on that and exercise that as we go back to school.
So one of the best things you can be doing during this time is to make the most of the 5 weeks, and especially the next 2 weeks coming up as we lead into term 2. One of the big things about having a rest and having a break is being able to pick up new skills. So over the last 3 weeks, Jessie has actually been learning the recorder. And I've been learning to juggle, and we thought we'd do a bit of a demonstration to let you know how we can adapt to these new and changing times and to really make the most of what we have. So, quick demo.
Let's get a demo.
All right, ready? Nico, can you count us in?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they're off. Riveting. Or inspiring.
Even though we've said this before, we also really encourage you to keep staying connected with your friends and even the people that you don't know that well. It might be as small as sending a quick email or text or giving someone a call, going for a walk with a friend locally, and even the people that you haven't talked to that much. It's really cool to keep checking in with them before we start school in a couple of weeks.
I know that all of us and probably a lot of other people are really excited to be back at school, but we also know that school might be a little bit different to what we're normally, to what we're used to. And we really want to encourage everyone to respond with positivity. Let's not focus on the things that we can't change. Let's not focus on the things that we might be missing out on, but let's make 2020 an unforgettable year and make the most of what 2020 is going to give us.
Hello, I'm Reverend Peter Tong, and I'm very excited to be joining the Barker community. My role here is to inspire us through the Bible to know God's purpose for us as we learn, as we grow, as we play, as we perform, to know God's purpose for us as a community. I'm very excited to joining you on the 11th of May. It's been lonely in the chapel the last few weeks, but won't it be great to be back together? Not just to catch up, but because it's profoundly good that we can be together in community. God made us not for isolation, but to be together. No doubt there's been some challenges in the past number of weeks, and there will be some difficult times ahead as well, but we do so together because we have a God who loves us and a God who leads us. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.
So, in closing, let me just say to you again how much we are looking forward to your return on the 11th of May. Schools are social places. We'll do this safely, but we need to be together again. We can't wait to see you. Everything is getting ready, as you've seen, to be prepared for your return safely and well and happily. It won't be exactly the same as it usually is, but it'll be good enough for us to be back together again. Let's not waste these days. Let's thrive in the context of unusual and changing circumstances. I'll see you in a few days.